Because it's an important story.
There's a thin line between heroism and madness.
Here the line fades to nothing at all. This is a world of capes and lunatics.
And nothing is off limits.
Tonight, it's me, Phil. I'm here talking comics and current events with Charlie Esser, Pen King of New Jersey, and Lilith Hellfire, my little crash test dummy. Not showing us her robotic arm yet. All right, fun and games.
Needs oil.
What?
It needs oil.
Oil can! Oil can!
My little tin girl needs a heart. Anyway, Capes and Lunatics starts right now.
Just a mess. It's a Thursday night, guys. Get used to it for a couple more weeks. And maybe, if Phil can get his life together, we'll be back to Saturday morning.
I was going to say, not this week.
Yeah, need is a strong word, Phil, as far as needs are.
Well, overtime, I'm going to work Saturday this week.
No, I meant as far as Lilith needs in the heart. Like, need is a strong word.
Well, I mean...
She's gotten this far without it. I don't know. You don't want to...
Human emotions.
I'm right here, guys! Although I agree.
Although you're kind of drugged up on painkillers.
Did you ever see the
I think this whole thing was a dream.
Oh, there was a great Twilight Zone episode. I believe it was called like Nothing Human, but I could be wrong on that, or it might have been called something at the back. But it's basically, this guy, this robot this person comes and he's a pitcher and a baseball player, and he's like the world's greatest ever. And then, and what it actually is he's actually a robot, and this scientist built him and designed him to be the perfect man. And basically, that meant being perfect physically. He could throw balls really fast and designed it all this, but he didn't have a heart. And they eventually, after he gets beamed, the doctor the doctor checks him out and says he has no heartbeat. They say, well, he can't play baseball if he's not a human, and a human has to have a heart. So the scientist gives him a heart, and then all of a sudden he just starts walking everybody. Because he didn't want him to feel bad. Yeah, exactly. It's
exactly.
That's what ruined you being...
Heart slows you down.
Exactly.
Makes you weak.
What am I going to do with my boys? I just don't know.
All right, before we jump in, it's a couple days, but I don't think we got to discuss this. Steve Ditko.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually realizing this. Steve Ditko deserves a credit on The Watchmen. Because he created all the Charlton comics.
Oh.
Yeah, like The Question.
The Question and Captain Atom. And,
wasn't Watchmen specifically created to get around that?
No. I mean, honestly, as we always say, what's his name? What is his name?
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore never had an original thought in his entire life. Which is how he's sold his soul to the devil. He says, I won't give you original ideas, but you can take other people's ideas and I'll make them popular because we're going to imply, rape and pedophilia. And that's going to make you popular because that's what the devil says. The kids today, they love that rape and pedophilia.
Damn it! Shut up, Charlie! There's a Swamp Thing freaking TV show coming up, and damn it, I want him on the show!
Oh, well, Alan,
I think that's going to happen.
That's part of the deal, that he can't ever go back to this stuff. Because otherwise,
he doesn't want to go back.
That is, here's what I'm going to say is Alan Moore has that picture in his house that is as young and beautiful as the day it was painted. Yeah, I pick on Alan Moore. But, but he's definitely one of those guys that...
All the greats are old, in summary. All the greats are old, so get used to it. They're going to start dropping like flies. And everybody pretend Betty White and Stan Lee. Those are the only two old people I care about at this point.
Lazarus Pit.
I
mean, if all these other characters, but I mean, the one he's most well known for is like Spider-Man, and the look especially, because I heard a story a couple of days ago where it's like, I guess Stan Lee... I don't know if he went to Kirby first, Jack Kirby for Spider-Man, and of course he drew like this big bulky,
Yeah, he basically made Flash Thompson Spider-Man, and Jack was like, "Did you not read Science Nerd in here?" But then again, not for nothing, Jack Kirby drew people who look like Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby was like a big guy. Jack Kirby was broad-shouldered, he was muscular, had a big square jaw. The man looked like Uncle Ben. When you look at the comics, Uncle Ben, that is based off of Jack Kirby. And he was this big guy, but the point was that Stan Lee wanted this idea of he wanted that Billy Batson story.
Mm-hmm.
And really, Spider-Man is Billy Batson without the morality. You know, Spider-Man is Billy Batson if Billy Batson wasn't just a good, wholesome kid. It was like, what if he was a menace?
I'm do with you too.
You know, and that I understand was actually Ditko's idea that, you know, Spider-Man should be a menace and all this kind of thing. That people should really look at this guy as like, this guy is dangerous.
What should Spider-Man be, Charlie? Oh, I know. What's coming in October?
Superior?
Doc October.
Yes, the Superior October puss. You know, well,
right,
you know,
Otto's getting his own book. I know it's going on the pull list. I know it.
Oh yeah, well yeah. If there is a Superior
October,
October,
Brian, Charlie.
It will get on the pull list. You know, as I've always said, first off, you know, it's important to remember this isn't actually Dr. Octopus. This is actually Peter Parker, who thinks he's Dr. Octopus. Because
your whole rewriting thing. I know.
Because you can't rewrite a person's brain. That it's still that Peter Parker.
It's fiction.
Selfish mindset. Yeah, well, you know. Although, you know, I did read Amazing Spider-Man this week.
Yes.
I mean, it was good, but we weren't expecting that from you, Charlie.
No, I actually really enjoyed it. I like this whole... I mean, really, you talk about going back to basics, and just forcing everything back to basics was wonderful. From the return of basic villains,
Mysterio.
The return of... Oh, Mysterio. He's so great when he's not dead of cancer. But, you know... Mysterio was excellent, but what I loved is just the fact that now Peter Parker has to go back to school.
Yes. And being taught by the Lizard? It's like, what's up with that?
Well, the Lizard has his brain back, so it's like, you know, just because you have suffered a debilitating physical deformity doesn't mean you can't work in your chosen profession, Phil.
That's good to know.
Yes, it's like, no, just... Yeah, it really, no, I mean, really, let's be honest here. He is still a brilliant scientist.
How brilliant, he experimented on himself.
Well, there's a thin line between insanity and genius. It really is.
And you know what? Not for nothing. Walter Reed, the guy for whom the Walter Reed Medical Facility is named after, likewise did it. There is actually a long tradition of scientists experimenting on themselves and it going horribly, horribly wrong. Walter Reed died of malaria because he was trying to prove that mosquito bites cause malaria. And he was right.
But I love...
Thanks for taking that hit for the team.
Yes.
I love this story, and it seems like they're here. They've heard my prayers. Could we be getting the marriage back? Yeah.
Damn straight.
Well, yeah. But we also have a mystery figure.
Oh, yeah.
Is it Venom? I feel like it's Venom. Joking.
No, this mysterious figure came to Mysterio. He seems like he's like talking about like dragging him back to hell or something.
Well, no, but you know what I'm talking about, Phil.
I know.
The Venom.
It makes me wonder who this person is. My prediction: it's the Wizard. One of the wizards who have died and gone to hell and have been building their power base in hell all this time. And now they've broken out. Because he keeps cloning himself every time he dies. All those clones have souls. They all go to hell.
I say Spawn crossover. What's up, McFarlane?
Oh.
Boy, you must be on some good drugs because he ain't coming back.
He ain't never coming back. I'm just throwing it out into the atmosphere. Sometimes it comes true, bro.
Yes.
Oh, but Lilith, did you read this or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you notice who the artist is?
Mm-mm.
Ryan.
Well, I can't remember either way.
Was it Ryan Otley, who worked on Invincible?
Oh, okay. Invincible's really good, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that looked familiar.
We're gonna be doing some reviews. Yeah, for Invincible too.
Very good.
The book was so good, I can even forgive the, they had to put Felicia Hardy in one panel so he could do the bye Felicia joke.
Yeah, actually, that really bugged me because isn't she a villain now?
No, she's still an anti-hero, right?
No, she was full on mobster last I checked.
Yeah, she was like running a gang.
So was Catwoman, and she was still an anti-hero at the time.
Think about it this way. If you think aliens are attacking the city, even if she is like a crime boss, maybe she's protecting her interests.
Well, fair
There's
enough.
a ka-ching button, Phil. Come on.
I'm telling you, it's just for that bye Felicia joke.
They're trying to pull in the kids, man. Or people who like Friday. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what that Venn diagram looks like.
It was, because of course, Bye Felicia is such a current and contemporaneous joke. It's not like that's like 2 It's
it's been memeing around lately.
For like 2 years ago, it was memeing around.
Well, these guys are old. Nobody's like in their 20s, as far as I know. So I'm just saying.
Nobody writing, drawing, or reading the book is in their 20s.
But anyway,
or editing, or in the offices.
But I mean, it was a cute joke for the Bye Felicia. But like I said, but things like that do draw me out of it. It's like that's not what that character should be doing. And it's not like. I don't know. I don't think the joke was worth the disruption to continuity. It's basically my take on it.
The memes, they need to live and breathe, bro. Just calm down.
Continuity is all.
There's no such thing as continuity.
Not in our modern age, no.
Continuity is what I say continuity is.
Headcanon, fanon. That's what I live by.
I get angry. Wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Charlie Spatch non-continuity.
So outside of the Spider-Man stuff, I thought that yes, I thought the Marvelous week was a little weak for me. But I'm not a Marvel girl, so what do you guys think?
It was decent. What do I got? Renew Your Vows was okay. Daredevil was alright.
Was it?
Yeah, Mayor Fisk is back in his position. Oh, Charlie. Last page. Fisk takes back the office of mayor because he was injured, and Matt Murdock became mayor temporarily. But Matt used his hearing, and he heard Fisk talking to one of his lackeys. And guess what? Fisk rigged the election. He didn't get it. He didn't get it fair and square.
Honestly, he stuffed the ballot box. In fine New York tradition.
I was gonna say, when in Rome, do as Romans do.
Yeah, well, hey, that is the truth. When it actually, voter fraud actually is a real thing. It's just in-person voter fraud that is actually not a thing. But actual voter fraud, which is the people who count the ballots suddenly finding more ballots that got cast.
Good Lord.
That is the actual concern of voter fraud, not actual in-person voter fraud, which is actually just a ruse to try and suppress votes by people who want to stuff ballot boxes.
All right, I got a Marvel book I'm sure everyone probably read.
Domino number 4.
Cha-ching! Yeah, see?
Somebody's gonna get lucky.
I enjoyed that a lot. It was very good. And it is very much, what I said from the very first issue, which is this guy, he's the guy who gets all of the bad luck. That, that luck goes to one person rather than being evenly distributed throughout the Omniverse in the way that it goes for Longshot. Which, although, it's kind of weird because it doesn't seem like there is an honest, it doesn't seem like even. It's like, Domino got a kitten. My arm is now broken in 6 places for no reason. And then
shouldn't he have gotten attacked by like a mountain lion then? Like, I think that would even it out.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, it's like
he's so much locked in a cell.
It doesn't really seem like it doesn't seem like there's any kind of evenness to this. I mean, like
rhyme and reason to his bad luck is what you mean.
Well, yeah, or the reciprocal that Domino had a case go bad, and thought her friends were dead. They're not actually dead, but she thought her friends were dead for like a minute, and now he's all young and handsome and virile again. And it's like, that. I don't think that is in any way comparable.
Well, look at the whole Shang-Chi thing. Maybe her sexual frustration makes him young and the other guy young and... Well,
there you go.
Yeah.
It's actually, they're completely mistaken on what this is about. Actually, it's all about whether or not she's getting some.
As you do.
As you do. Well, actually, one thing that I'm thinking on this whole thing, that because Topaz, like her mutant powers, I can turn your powers off and turn your powers on. Doesn't she just turn his powers off? It's like, okay, now you won't have her bad luck coming to you because now your power is off.
All right, Lil, if you're into it,
like,
I'll do it for you. Convenient plot point is convenient.
Thank you.
Or maybe it's a misdirection.
Well, with Domino, it is a lot of misdirection, just to be honest. It's Gail Simone, too, so.
Yeah, maybe we're supposed to be going along with this idea, oh, this is what happens. But obviously, if you look at all the clues, what they think is happening isn't what's actually happening. And my actual prediction, Topaz is actually causing him all this problem.
Maybe. Oh, maybe.
Topaz is the one that is causing that connection between them because Topaz wants to control him.
Or maybe she's just like feeding off him, making herself stronger or something.
Well, no, I think that it's that she doesn't even realize she's doing it, but unconsciously, because she's an abused person, she both wants to abuse someone, but also wants to show love to someone. And what better way to show love for someone than to constantly abuse them and then let them build themselves up? So Topaz, I think, is actually the person who is actually the villain of this piece, and that our guy who's getting the bad luck, he assumes it's because of Domino, but actually it's because of Topaz. And note that his arm doesn't fracture in 4 places until he makes Topaz tell him that something good happened to Domino. And at that point does it happen. Because it's actually Topaz who's causing the problem. Topaz is influencing his demise. And it may be completely unconscious on her part, but that, I think, is the actual connection. That's my theory. We'll see if I bore out. I was right about the first one. Let me see if let me roll the dice again.
All right, let's get to the elephant in the room. Did everyone read Superman #1?
Nope.
Unfortunately. I mean, I got mine for free, so like I said, I wrote a blog post about it. I've done my job.
Yes.
I was unimpressed, as usual.
I thought at first, in the beginning, I thought maybe he was going to turn it around. I mean, considering what corner he wrote himself into, but just the end angered me. The whole John Jones thing just angered me.
Oh, I could see that.
Basically, John Jones comes to Superman and says, hey, guess what? You know what? When are you going to tell this world that, borders and,
he
the
wants
quest
the
for
Superman
materials
for this bitch!
are crap, and why don't you tell them you're going to run the world now? When would Martian Manhunter tell Superman, hey, why don't you step up and tell the world I'm in charge now?
That's not John Jones.
Isn't there a psycho pirate running around right now? Isn't there everybody acting like dumb?
That's what I was thinking. This is the only thing that's going to turn that could redeem Bendis' storyline is if somebody's I don't know, feeding Superman his worst nightmares. His family's missing. You got this.
Well, it's not that his family's missing. His family's with his father, who has his issue.
The guy who claims he's his father, he's never proved that.
Wait a minute. Wasn't this the plot of Fantastic Four when Nathaniel Richards takes Franklin Richards to the future to train him to be the warrior to fight?
No, that's John's subplot. Sorry, that's John's subplot, actually.
We never said Bendis was original.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I just realized that. That's actually that's.
How long was he at Marvel? He can't help it.
And then
we wish.
Not only that, not only is it not original, it's the second time it's been done because Angel did it too.
True.
Yeah,
we'll get there on the Angel Chronicles. Trust us.
Oh yeah.
I got a lot to say about that season.
Spoilers for Angel.
I know Demon Spawn. I know.
Yeah.
Literal.
Oh, and since Rogol Zard destroyed the fortress.
Don't say that name.
Well, since
what did you say that name?
He's Khal Drogo.
Well, since you know who destroyed the Fortress of Solitude, Superman builds a new one in the Bermuda Triangle.
Dumb.
It's not a place.
Dumb.
Well, he builds it in the middle of the ocean, I guess.
Aquaman needs to have a word with him next issue. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't. Like, get out of here!
You're dropping alien tech into my ocean.
Not for nothing, the Bermuda Triangle is a heavily trafficked shipping lane. That's why so many ships go disappear there, because there's a lot of ships that go through there. It's actually
Bermuda Triangle's old hat conspiracy theory. That's so like 1970s Bigfoot.
It is such a... Well, I mean, even if there is mysterious forces that work there, that's like the worst place for a Fortress of Solitude. Because literally there's like vacation barges going. I was like, oh, look! And if you look to your left, you'll see Superman's Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, please.
Fortress of Partytude! He's basically single. It's his bro pad.
It's Bendis Superman. He's like, look at me!
It's his bro pad. You know? Batman's gonna show up in shorts with friggin' Damian and a surfboard.
What is this, Teen Titans Go?
I would
Batman
love to see...
66.
Yeah, Batman, surfing Batman. That's a great one. But then Joker has to get his Bermuda shorts on.
No, that would be Harley Quinn in a bathing suit in this case. Let's just all be honest.
But it should be a one piece, because she's modest.
Not the current version.
I know.
I'm just saying, just to mess with everyone's expectations, that she wears a one piece.
It's a one piece with a beaver on it. That's the only way it's a one piece.
Brusha.
But so the issue ends with, I guess, Earth's in the Phantom Zone now?
I know, right? And it's just like...
How is
Bendis.
We should have
What
never...
is the Phantom Zone anyway?
It's a zone that's a phantom.
It's an other dimensional space that Jor-El discovered.
It's a MacGuffin.
Where Krypton threw their garbage. They're criminals and their garbage.
It's Australia.
It just, but like, is it like a cross-dimensional space? Because like in the Krypton TV show, they almost seem to imply that it's like subspace. Like this is the space you go through when you go hyperspace or something.
Well, you need like a Phantom Zone projector or something to get there, so it's...
We should have never thrown him in there. We wouldn't be in this situation.
And then Lilith, I know you don't want to hear this, but yeah, the next issue blurb. Next, Rogolzar returns. He's only been gone a week.
It's Khal Drogo.
He was in the book last week. Oh, Bendis, you went a whole week without using Rogolzar. What? We're going to use Rogolzar every issue of Bendis's?
Yeah,
every other issue, Phil.
No, he was in most of the Man of Steel issues, and then it's.
Where's that fire chief? Give me that instead.
I just love the blurb. Rogolzar returns, and it's like he's been gone a whole week. Bendis, chill.
That's not a good cliffhanger. I don't care about that.
No, I mean I care about him. Like, Bendis.
We should call him Lobo Jr. Like that's the level. We're not saying that name anymore.
Doomsday with a brain.
He could be Ghost Rider.
Lobo Jr. though, isn't there? Or.
Well, yeah, in that
Lobo Gal or something like that.
In that new Teen Titans
Lobo the Third, Lobo wannabe.
In that new Teen Titans book, I guess they're bringing in Lobo's daughter.
Hey, I would say that Lobo seems like the kind of guy who probably does have
a bunch of kids, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a few. I don't say it doesn't necessarily have to be a bunch, because quite frankly, I don't know how many people he's been with who were genetically compatible.
He's been driving that motorcycle everywhere, man.
I know, but not everybody you have fun with is genetically compatible when you're an interstellar being.
Well, in the DC universe, actually, that's quite untrue. That's quite untrue in the DC universe. Everybody's genitals fits in the DC universe, okay?
DC, you want to use that blurb? I just see Lobo having aggressive DNA.
Is that what we're calling it now?
I can work with that.
That's what she said. Anyway.
Speaking of aggressive DNA, should we talk about Henry Cavill? Because we did that off camera. But
yeah.
Was that GQ? GQ Australia? Did I read that right?
GQ Australia, yes.
Garbage Island, yes.
Yeah.
So
I'm kidding, Aussies. You know I'm kidding. I love Australia.
Yeah, hey, you know what? The entire Hemsworth clan comes from there, and I have not heard anybody say anything bad about them yet.
That's because they're sweet, sweet boys. They're not British trash.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know if he was from Australia. Oh, so he's just just yelling out. He's just some Brit going to Australia to air his.
Well, you do your press junkets, and whoever shows up, you do your interviews. I mean, it's still GQ.
Henry Cavill, keep your Big Ben in your pants, please.
Yes, for those who don't know, Henry Cavill is upset because he worries the Me Too movement is...
He can't date anymore because he's afraid.
Because these women are all liars!
Well, no, that's the problem. That's the problem with his exact quote. It's not that I'm afraid women are liars. It's that he's afraid that his super aggressive dating style is going to be confused for rape.
His super aggressive style?
That's what he said. Well, not that exact phrasing, but I guess my point on all this is, you know what? I'm an aggressive guy. I'm always like, hey, baby, how you been? When I was on the dating scene, I was like always, I was gold chains and tight pants. You didn't know me then. I can say anything. And you know what? At no point in my life have I ever been worried that someone's going to say, oh, I think he raped me. Because I never would.
Because they all loved it, huh, Charlie?
No, because there's a certain level. Basically, if you're worried that people are going to think what you did was rape, you probably raped someone. Yeah, it's like.
Okay. He's had his issues with substances and things like that. So I've never really understood why he's been our Superman, why he had to be British, all these things. And, he does have these whisperings about him. So I feel like he's trying to get in front of something. Either that or what you said. He's trying to get out of his DC contract.
Yeah, I think that basically people know that the house is on fire at DC. And, and not for nothing, it might be telling that he's making these statements after the Bendis stuff comes out. And, maybe there was, this hope that, hey, Bendis is going to come in and going to totally revamp Superman, and it's all going to be great, and there's going to be this great Marvel infusion.
The House of L is on fire!
Yeah, but...
Somebody get Colin Salmon!
Yeah, it all kind of went the way of the dodo, and now he's what?
Burned.
He doesn't want to wear the trunks. That's what it is.
Not in this continuity, he doesn't.
It is an unfortunate reality about the whole concept. Like I said, I did not think Justice League was that bad. I didn't think it was that good.
Well, you're not a real DC fan, Charlie. It's okay.
No, well, but not for nothing, Lilith. Their market is to people who aren't necessarily real DC fans. They need to get people. Marvel doesn't make their money off of Marvel fans. Marvel makes their money off of people like, oh yeah, superhero-ies. That looks good. An Anted Man? That sounds lovely. Let's see what an Anted Man does.
Yeah, but I think
Strange Doctor?
Initially, it was Marvel fans, and then once it got successful and more accessible, then I can agree with you. Say after an Iron Man 2, that's when we can just go out and we're a hit, baby.
But don't you want the hardcore fans out there cheerleading for your stuff and word of mouth to get around? I mean, they
put embargo there. I mean, I'm pretty sure from here on out there's going to be embargoes until the day before the movie at this point.
Yeah,
for DC.
I think that you want that. I mean, I'm not going to say you don't want that, but I'm going to say, I guess what I would say is, you don't necessarily have to have everything be all fan service.
Well, when it comes to DC, they do literally have the 3 most recognizable superheroes.
Yes.
So I get what you're saying on that level.
Yeah, it's like, you want people to be coming to Superman because he is an icon. Less because, I happen to have read, Action Comics, number 42. Not number 1. Everyone read number 1, but 42, that was a good issue.
192.
Yes, but hi Tristan. Okay. Anyway, but the idea is that at a certain point when you're dealing with not Captain America, when you're dealing with Superman, with Batman, with Wonder Woman, these are iconic characters who have this incredible cachet. You don't necessarily have to have it all be about the fans loving it so much as you want people to love it. And I always go back to, 70s Incredible Hulk. No fan service whatsoever. In fact, has so much anti-fan service you would think it was a DC film. And yet, incredibly popular. People liked it. It was enjoyable. and actually became iconic to the point where it influences the comics that come after it in many ways. And
found the button, did you, Phil?
yeah, and unfortunately, I think that's what DC wants, but I don't think maybe they're just not doing that well yet at it.
Dear DC Nation, I'm gonna say this until it happens. We need to literally pull our money and buy DC back from Warner Brothers. This is the only way. This is the only way to save the house we love, guys.
Put us in charge, people. We'll turn it around.
I mean, not for nothing. I don't think that the money is there because it still makes money. I mean, here's what I'll tell you. Disney has a better chance of buying DC from Warner's than anyone else, but Disney already has Marvel. Why do they want it? See, DC went through that habit of buying up all of their competitors for years. In fact, almost bought Marvel at one point during their hardest times. Oh, what a different world this would be then. But but at that, ironically, what probably soured DC on the whole idea was that Marvel said, no, we're just selling for parts. We're not going to sell the whole thing because we can make more money. like any hot car, you can make more money off the parts than by selling the whole thing. So Marvel sold all the parts to various and sundry people, made their bones
and that's why I won't ever see it anymore, because Universal won't ever give up those rights.
No, Universal is happy to trade rights for pay.
I knew you liked Aquaman, but what, you want a Namor movie too?
Yeah,
I've been waiting my whole life, bro. My whole life.
So the thing but there's the thing, because of course Universal, NBC Universal also owns the Hulk. And they worked out a deal.
And look what we got. We don't get real Hulk movies. I'm just saying.
Well, because it cost extra. That was, in my opinion, why Comcast decided to make that bid for that other half of Marvel. Because they knew they could work out that deal for the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and the Cosmic Villains the same way they already had a deal with the Hulk. Where you would never get the Fantastic Four film, but you would get the Fantastic Four as part, or the X-Men as part of the larger universe that's centered around the core Marvel characters. And then Reed Richards would come in and yell at Tony Stark or Hank Pym at some point.
Yes, we need that. We need it so bad.
And we do. But the fact of the matter is that's why Universal made the play, I think, because they knew if they did that, then they
That's probably why they didn't go through. Like, they were just really dead set on, everybody was just dead set on dealing with who they wanted to deal with, and no number was going to change that. Yeah. There's just bad blood with businesses sometimes, Well,
exactly. And now they still have the Hulk, and they still are making money off the Hulk. And Disney may eventually sweeten the deal to get the Hulk back from Universal. Disney may say, you know what, we know what you were trying to do. Let's see what we can work out. Because, not for nothing, Disney's sitting on a big old pile of money right now. They got all this money, and they can say, you know what, let's talk about how to deal with... Let's talk about how we can either work out a deal like we have with Sony where we're going to work this out, or let's get a deal where, we make you happy and you walk away. Because you're not in the business to make a Hulk film. That's the thing, is Universal is not in the business to make a Hulk film. They have no real interest in that.
Well, they should be after their monster universe fell apart. Just saying. Saying.
You don't have to put Tom Cruise in everything.
I was really shocked that Universal got Tom Cruise because Tom Cruise owns his own movie studio. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and you know who else owned his own movie studio?
Well, he has the Mission Impossible franchise. I'm just saying. Well, yeah, which still does really well.
Yes, but Orson Welles, he wants to make
he is a different case and a different topic of conversation. We could do a whole podcast about that. True story.
Anyway. Yes.
You almost forgot hello, Red Hood and the Outlaws.
Well, I was trying to get there. Yeah, did you read it?
Sorry,
yeah, it's still good.
Red Hood tried to murder the Penguin. He shot him and everything.
That's my Jason.
Is he that bad of a shot that he can't kill the Penguin?
At point blank range, I guess so.
He's got Bruce in his head. We don't use guns. We don't use guns. And he gets the little twitch.
Dude, I mean, he tried.
That's my headcanon.
The Penguin's in the hospital in critical condition.
It's all a ploy. We'll get to it. It'll be like 3 issues down the road.
Not for nothing. Doesn't he always use guns?
Yes, he does. It's a joke.
Okay, good. He's
that's the whole point. It's like, oh my god, an ex-Robin is using guns.
So this was issue 24. So of course, issue 25, the double-size epic, 35 years in the making, Batman vs. Red Hood.
Really? 35 years in the making?
I guess, or what are they saying when Jason got killed?
Well,
yeah, probably.
I mean,
or maybe when, or maybe
I know the timeline. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no.
Have we really been making this?
But we've already seen this battle.
No. You know what? 35 years might be. It might be when they first introduced Jason Todd as Robin.
I mean, that's entirely possible. I have that.
I mean, we've already seen Batman versus Red Hood. I mean, there's a whole cartoon movie about it.
Well, yeah.
Just saying. Stop rehashing.
You know, DC doesn't necessarily have original ideas.
Oh, they do.
Let's bring in Bendis. Let's bring in Bendis.
That'll fix everything.
If you want a house fire.
The roof is on fire.
Anyone read Exiles?
Let it burn. Let it burn. Nobody call the fire station.
Lilith, did you read Exiles 5 this week? I guess not. Okay.
No, you can spoil me.
I don't know. I mean, no.
I need that drop. I need that drop.
I liked it because Baby Wolvie got to be a hero, which was nice.
Oh.
And he got to use his cartoon power of complete and total invulnerability to frustrate Galactus Kang, which was fun. And it was very nice, and everybody got to have their heroic moment. Kamala Khan had a great heroic moment that is that's just perfect for her grizzled old character. And young Nick Fury has a spot in it, which was great. I mean, there was a lot of good going on in it, and I really enjoyed Exiles number 5. I think Exiles is going to get put on the pull list next week. You know, yeah. I mean, it's gone 3 issues that I've been reading, and I've liked all of them. You know, I mean, there's a lot of books out there. You know, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark actually got pulled after 1 issue, so. But it's because I just love Elvira, and it's a dynamite book. I like to have some books that are outside of the Marvel canon, you know?
I totally agree.
I picked up Plastic Man number 2. I did not know Plastic Man number 1 already came out. I'm very disappointed I missed that, but I haven't gotten the chance to read it yet. I just got my comic books today, so this is the problem when we do these Thursday shows. How am I supposed to read all these books in this amount of time, Phil?
I'm sorry. I have to
Lilith. She's dying. What do you want from me?
No, I have to go to Korea tomorrow, so you know.
Gotta go to Korea?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, say hi to Klinger for me.
If only it was a baby.
Here, come in, one-armed lady. Come in.
Anyway, the best book you guys probably didn't read this week was Archie number 32. Oh my god, it is back to being good after 8 issues of dragging nonsense, looking like the damn TV show.
Now, is this
this is the main Archie book.
This is the maturely drawn Archie?
I wouldn't say maturely drawn, no. But it's the new revamp style Archie.
Yeah, but it's not the old style Archie.
No, it's not, the 70s.
It's the Riverdale style.
It's a little sexy. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little sexy. But finally, that bastard Reggie paid for his crimes.
Did he go to jail?
It's good. No, that's not how we pay in Riverdale.
Okay,
straight out of Riverdale. What are you talking about?
I forgot he's a upper middle class white man. I'm sorry, Lilith. I forgot. I thought there might be actual punishments involved, but he has been shamed. He's been adequately shamed.
Yes, shame.
Shame.
But no, it was crazy. We got this crazy subplot with the Blossom's father holding the whole gang hostage, and that came to a resolution.
Wait! Cheryl Blossom's father is holding people hostage?
The whole Archie gang. I'm telling you, it's an animated soap opera on steroids, and I love it. It's my secret shame. It really is.
Well, you don't seem that shamed by it.
No, not really. Gotta have a heart first.
No, that's fine. No, I mean, it sounds lovely. I mean, it sounds like the kind of thing I'd probably appreciate more if I'd read more books prior to the 32nd book, but yes.
Not a lot of ads in this issue either, just saying.
Oh,
there we go. Well, I guess obviously the Talking Up has gotten their sales enough they don't need to sell as many ads.
I think you just sold another book.
We need, see, they need Lilith out there saying, read the Archies, they're good.
Not as many ads.
I mean, if I had the time, I would do an Archie's podcast. But sometimes they really piss me off, and I go like months without reading Archie.
Oh yeah, you got to have that consistency, Lilith.
Yeah, consistency.
Even when it's bad, you still gotta suffer.
I put my money where my mouth is. So like I said, I'm only reading like 4 DC books. None of them are like the top 7.
Podcast, Lilith. Okay.
Lilith.
Didn't do it in the Humans one though. That was a bridge too far.
Did you read Flash 50?
No, leave me alone about Flash. I don't care about the Flash.
I thought you said you were reading Flash War.
I didn't, then I realized I didn't care.
Well,
Flash is an idiot on TV and the comic books. I can't take it.
They brought back Hyper Time for like 2 seconds.
What's Hyper Time? Is that a character or is that a thing?
Back in like the late 90s.
You know what? They saw Enter the Flash and said, "Hey, we need to do that."
Back in the late 90s, like when DC was like, oh yeah, we don't have alternate universes, we just have the one universe. That was like their workaround, was Hyper Time. Instead of like a multiverse, they had Hyper Time.
Like, you can't have all these continuities in one universe. I'm just saying. Something's got to give.
But anyway, the Flashes like broke the Speed Force or the time stream or whatever, so it says they can't time travel anymore, not even with a cosmic treadmill.
Yes! Repercussions! Consequences! For one issue.
Oh, but Ginger Wally West was able, not that he knows it, but he was able to knock someone out of the Speed Force. Guess who, Lilith? Did you see the spoilers?
No.
Impulse.
No! How did I know it was Impulse? That is not Crash, okay? It is not Crash. I actually don't like comic book Impulse.
But he's the Scrappy Doo of
Exactly. Nobody likes Scrappy Doo. Scrappy Doo is the cousin Oliver. Okay, it's a reason why they put him in the movie the way they did. Don't even get me started on Scrappy Doo.
I think Scrappy Doo gets better.
Oh, all right. Watch your head explode. Last
cousin
page.
Jasper's better. Just saying.
Watch your head explode. Last page. In the 25th century, an inmate escapes. The prison cell says "inmate crisis." And he says, worlds will live, worlds will die, and the multiverse will never be the same.
In the 25th century?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this is the year, 25?
Well, they were time traveling in this. They were time traveling in this story. Not that the Flashes are there now; they can't get there now. But yes, that was the 25th century.
Okay. Which actually, that would be the year 26, not the year 25, because the centuries are the... Actually, no, that's the year after. So it'd actually be the year 24. So there's a song called, in the year 25, if man is still alive.
Yes, I am familiar with that only because of Futurama.
In the year 2000.
Yes. Anyway, but I guess so. There's a character named Crisis, whose power is causing crises on
Meta.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that's good writing. I'm just gonna say when your character's name is Jack Everyman, it's not a good story.
No, it's normal. Let the scholars figure that one out.
Normal is actually a brilliant name because it's not a name. It's not like Norm Al or Alan Normanson, something like that is like, I actually thought for 5 minutes on this name, but I gotta name the character Crisis. He's gonna cause a crisis, like the crisis on several Earths at some point.
Several Earths.
There's not infinite Earths anymore. We don't have infinite Earths now.
Crisis on nearby Earths.
Crisis on 1 through 62. 1 through 52. Earth on Crisis. Crisis on Earth, and
it's gonna be Crisis Down the Block, and it's gonna be written by Bendis.
You shut your mouth.
Crisis in Hell's Kitchen.
Chelsea.
Sorry. Crisis in Suicide Alley or
Suicide Slums.
Suicide Slums, Murder Alley. What was the alley that
Crime Alley?
Crime Alley.
Because that's the alley you cut across.
Well, it used to be part.
We don't want to pay $5 for a taxi.
Charlie, it was.
That's highway robbery.
Charlie, it was Park Row until the Waynes got killed. Then they immediately changed it to Crime Alley. Right on the nose.
As Gotham does.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the alley where.
You like fish and you got a hobble. Guess what? You're a freaking penguin.
That's the alley where those rich people got killed. We must call it Crime Alley.
What a memorial to the Waynes. Let me tell you.
I know.
Well, they made the money selling orphans. So what do you want from them?
Good Lord.
I mean, that's the least shady thing that goes on in Gotham.
And you
though.
know
That's
what?
the sad part.
As Comic Book Girl taught us, Thomas Wayne
Cheap
bought
pearls.
cheap pearls. Cheap pearls, man. Cheap pearls. Not knotted. They all fall apart the second you break the string. Guy was a cheap. Probably real pearls.
They did make a reference to
that.
They did make a reference to the pearls in Detective Comics 984 this week. This mysterious villain, I don't know if he can like read people's minds, but like he was like he's telling Batman, you know, all these partners you have like makes you weaker, and you know, and that. But he must. I don't know if he supposedly can read minds because he looks right at Batman. He's like, Bruce. He's like, what is it about that night? The only thing the thing you keep focusing on is the pearls.
It's iconic, damn it! Don't you know that?
Yes.
Yes. You know who that villain is?
Who?
Ambush Bug.
Oh, they're going to say Normal.
It has to be someone with fourth wall breaking powers.
Meta Man.
You would know what he's saying. Yes.
Oh, and there's one more book that I know you guys really didn't read, but like I don't know if you guys like the movie Crow and know that it's like it was an actual comic book that they're kind of doing a new Crow called Memento Mori. It's on number 4.
Yeah.
The art is stunning. It's beautiful. I love this continuing story.
I must find this.
Yes, it is. It is so gorgeous in the story.
I got such a problem with the Crow. I got
the movie or the comic book.
Okay, so I liked the movie with
Brandon
Lee. I really liked the movie with Brandon Lee.
We don't talk about the sequel.
Any of them?
We don't talk. No. And then I read the original J.O. Barr book. Detroit, Son of Detroit, gonna give that up to him. And then I like immediately started to hate the movie because I read the actual comic. And it's like, and then every continuation of the Crow idea since then, I've been like,
as have the fans, trust me.
You know, because not for nothing, J.O. Barr's original Crow comic is such a powerful book.
It really is.
Crow City of Angels, we're looking at you.
No, I'm just, because the whole idea of the Crow is, even what I think is just so beautiful about it is the idea that, you know what, this is not personal. This is random. There isn't some grand conspiracy to make the Crow. This is just, you know what, bunch of sociopaths raped and murdered your girlfriend. And now you're going to
love is so strong, it brings you back for revenge. Love is strong.
It's like Spawn, actually, kind of, which is probably why I liked it at the time. I think I discovered him around the same time.
Like I said, the original J.O. Barr comic is fantastic.
It is.
And any person who hasn't read it should read that comic.
Yes.
As far as any adaptation of it, I will say that the Brandon Lee film, it's a solid film. It's good for its time. It is. But
it's a hard book to adapt, just to be honest. It really is one of those. It's like Spawn. How I feel like it shouldn't have been a movie.
You know what? Here's what I'm going to tell you. You could adapt J.O. Barr's original Crow today, but you couldn't adapt anything that came after it. So I think you could it's like that book is it's like I don't even want to associate it with The Watchmen. It is a book that is really you could tell that dark and painful story because it is a dark and painful story. He wrote it after his friend just died in a random car accident, killed by a drunk driver, and it's like this great way of understanding this idea of dealing with that pain of randomized loss and putting it into that, forcing it into that superhero genre. Yes, I know it has a superhero in it. it's not a superhero book. You know, and I think that was the tragedy of what happened to the Crow after the Crow comic. Like I said, and I wouldn't have read the Crow comic had it not been for the Brandon Lee film, so I can't hate the Brandon Lee film that much. But it is just, like I said, it is as much the Crow comic as the 70s Hulk is the Incredible Hulk comic, you know?
We might have to do a live view of the Crow one day.
Oh, okay.
The original, yeah, none of that other crap.
Yeah, we can talk the original book or the movie or the original movie, and I'm there. Beyond that, nothing else exists.
Oh no, I don't want to do anything besides the original Hulk movie.
Yeah, beyond that, it's basically might as well be a Highlander sequel.
But you really should give this Memento Mori a chance. Like the story is very powerful and the art is just so great. It made me feel how I felt when I first originally read The Crow.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go look for it. I know that. Oh, all right, we're running out of time. But Lilith, have you been reading Hawkman? It's on number 2.
Of course. I don't know who this is for. I'm confused.
I mean, art
is great though. Like it has a nerve to have great art. Like I'm really pissed off about that.
Well, yeah, it's Brian Hitch, yeah. But I mean, I like it just because I mean they're not like ramming like a ton of like DC characters down your throat.
Just wait.
I know, but I mean, I'm getting like kind of like an Indiana Jones vibe almost. At least with that first.
I mean, I like they're kind of going back like to the original kind of idea of Hawkman. Even though he's a white guy, I can still like totally dig that version of Hawkman. Legends didn't ruin it for me.
Well, they said, I mean, he reincarnates. I guess now they're going even crazier. They're saying he wasn't always even an Earthman. He was like, he was like a figure on Krypton at one point. He was.
Bendis is secretly writing this, I guarantee you.
Well, not for nothing. That makes sense. If you're reincarnating in a universe with numerous sentient planets, why would you always be reincarnating?
Earth is the only one that matters, Charlie. Nobody else matters but Earthlings, okay?
Well, I was going to say, unless it's like the curse is like specific to Earth, but yeah, I guess not.
Yeah, you know, if you can come back as an ant or a cat, you can come back as a Thanagarian.
Or worse, a House of L member on Krypton.
Or rankless. Yeah. I mean, that's actually a good way to resolve continuity conflicts is by saying, actually, no, he exists on many worlds, and get us back to that Thanagarian idea of Hawkman, and then here's the Earthling Hawkman, and here's how they all connect back together.
They were doing something kind of similar to the brutal Hawkman. You remember that one, Phil? The one that they tried with the miniseries? It was like 6 issues. It was like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
A year and a half ago. I remember the new 52 stuff.
Yeah, it was like a miniseries.
Oh, was that Hawk? Was it Death of Hawkman or whatever?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I didn't pick it up, but
I think that's where he's kind of getting some of that from as well.
Okay.
They do need to reinvent the idea of Hawkman, definitely, especially if only like the kids only know like the Legends version, because that was some weak sauce.
Oh,
straight up.
Yeah, they need to up that game something. I don't know what.
But I am curious to see where they go with the newfound mythology. Definitely.
Oh yeah. All right. Are we done?
Shameless plugs and self promotion.
All right, everyone. If you watch on YouTube, you can see right there. You can always email us, capesandlunatics@gmail.com. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter @capeslunatics. We're even on the Instagram, not Pinstagram. And the voicemail, 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES.
Or in my case, Pentagram.
All right, Lilith, before you...
we'll give Charlie.
What?
Oh, okay. Well, you can always direct me in the old-fashioned email way, the way our mouse is possible. Instead at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet things that sometimes I get the chance to and sometimes I don't, like Cloak and Dagger, Thursday nights at 8 on Freeform @Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for quality.
All right, Lilith, before the drugs kick in, where can people get a hold of you?
If you nerds want to fight me about Hawkman or any other DC garbage.
Once she gets better, but you better watch that bionic arm.
If you want to talk real Superman, Tom Welding Superman, Dean Cain Superman, George Reeve Superman, at Save Me Podcast, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and Facebook.
How do you feel about Steve Reeves Superman?
Steve Reeves.
He was actually the first Superman in the films, yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the other guy that did the Mole Man.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a very early one.
He was a jerk, somebody said, a lot of times.
Well, he was a muscle man in the 1950s or 1930s. What do you want from him?
George Reeves was in excellent shape. Okay, George Reeves could have got it. I'm just saying.
George Reeves was an actor. Steve Reeves was a bodybuilder.
Poor Mark
I love you,
Harmon.
bodybuilder's a nice guy.
Oh, Mark Harmon can get it.
Just
No,
ask
I
Arnold
need to change it to George Reeves for sure.
I told you, give me the list, man. I'll run through them all. Just like you. All right. Thank you for joining us once again.
Why is my nose so itchy? I don't know.
Well, at least that hand's working. Certain finger. All right, everyone. Join us next week. Again, Thursday night, correct?
Yes!
To watch
Last
us live
in San
on
Diego on my end. Before I go to preview night.
But for another week, we have been the Capes.
Ampersand?
The Lunatics! Although we all know it's really only singular.
I don't know. Some of these people, some of us are crazy sometimes.
We're all a little mad here. It's fine.
We all have capes.
All it takes is one bad day.
We all worship Diana in her madness.
Yeah, everyone's worshiping Diana. That's the only good character the DCU has right now. Fight me, nerds!